if you had to ask me about 4 years ago, where am I going, what am I doing, I didn't have answers for you. Circumstances just make you live. You just wake up every day, you do the same thing, you try to be the best person, you try to be a good wife, a good mother. You don't know whether you're coming or going. And then one day you wake up, just one day you wake up, and you decide to put yourself first. And that's when it all changes. I had to wake up one day and say, Misha, this is what you want to do. Forget about Warren. Forget about your mother. Forget about making people proud. What about making you happy? There is a lot of pressure when you think that you want to make somebody happy, because we all want to make our parents proud. Which child doesn't want to make your parent proud? And you get to a point where, in our case, we're 4 siblings. My eldest brother is 14 years older than me. My sister's 13 years older than me, and then my second brother's 6 years older than me. So I'm like a latlamarki. And at some point, I considered myself to be the failure of the family. I got married young. I didn't study. I dropped out of everything I started. I could never finish anything I started. Not because I didn't want to or I didn't have the aptitude, because I get bored quickly, and because I wanted to do fun things in life. I wanted to be a DJ. I told my mom when I grow up I'm going to be a DJ. And I loved clubbing because I loved dancing. And then the reality of it hits you that you're not where your siblings are, and you start comparing yourself to people. And I'm sure in this day and age we realize the one thing you should never do is compare yourself to somebody else. You're never going to look at somebody and feel fulfilled by saying, oh, that person got this and I'm... You start comparing people to your age, your siblings, your family. The pressure gets too high. It gets too much, and you have to tell yourself, it's that penny, when that penny drops. That penny drops. And I don't know if some people ever get that chance, but when that penny drops, it's the most beautiful thing, because you realize who you are, what you're worth, how much you'll stand by, and what standards you have. And the moment you can realize those things, you'll never settle for less. You'll reach for the sky. You'll reach for the stars. You'll want that life where you can go to Dubai and shake your ass on a yacht. But it's that penny. That penny's got to drop at some point. And I don't know if a lot of women actually ever get there, because the pressure is a lot when you're a woman. You have to worry about how you look. You have to worry about your family. You have to worry about your kids. You have to worry about your extended family perceives you, and it becomes too much. You have to be a good standing woman, you have to be righteous, you have to be spiritual, you have to... Can you imagine all those things on you, and you're still trying to run this race of career path? Growing up, things were not given to us. I don't come from a well-off family. So my dad had lost his job, and my siblings basically took care of our household and me. I always had whatever I wanted, but it wasn't like we didn't have the luxury of going on holidays, or when your holidays come, you're going to help your mother clean the house. That's it. Your holidays meant spring cleaning, finish and clap. And you get excited for small things. You get excited when you can afford to buy yourself a Nike sneaker. So from the age of 16, I became a hustler. I said, stuff this. I'm never going to not have money. This friend of mine showed me how to burn movies, and he used to get the latest movies, and I used to make copies, and I used to sell it to people, and that's how I used to make side money. And that helped me get a deposit for my first car. And I then just started job hopping, because when you're growing up, a lot of people say, oh, give me your CV, I'll see what I can do. Some of those people, my CVs are probably still sitting on their desk. And I learned to make my own moves from a young age, because this is a deep story. I needed to get to Kramerville in Woodmead, because that's where I worked. That was my first big corporate job that I worked. I worked for an electronics company. And I told my dad that day that there's probably not going to be buses My father said to me, he looked at me and he said, but you have to get to work. He didn't have a car to take me to work. I looked at my brothers and they were all going to work, and everybody was doing their thing. They were all going to work. They were all worried about themselves. And I think it was at that moment I realized, listen here, girl, if you don't get your ass up, nobody's coming to save you. You're going to lose your job. No one's coming to save you, so you got to learn how to take a taxi. And it was 5 a.m. and I jumped on a bus and I got to Noord. And I dressed like a boy, tucked my hair in, put the whole hoodie on. My backpack was inside my hoodie, and it was 5 a.m. It was dark, and I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to even take a taxi at that time, because I used to take a bus to work. And I got to Noord, and there was just a whole lot of scariness, and it was just so traumatic for me, because I didn't know if I was going to make it to work or not, because you feel like you're going to be killed in that environment. You're a young girl, you're 17 years old, you're taking a taxi for the first time, it's dark, it's 5 o'clock, it's winter, and you're in Noord. Now you're in the middle of this whole thing. And I told myself, you're going to do this, you're going to get to work, and it's going to be part of your story one day. And I got to work that day on time, and I was proud of myself. So I got to work, I learned, I started making friends with the queue marshals, and I learned how to hustle my way back and forth to work until I got some transport. But it was at that moment I realized no one's coming to save you. Not your parents, not your siblings, not your friends, nobody. If you want something, you have to get up, you have to work, you have to go get it. And then I just got jobs afterwards. I just started getting, upscaling myself, upscaling my skills, and getting better jobs. Eventually I ended up working for the Gautrain. And then my final job I worked for before I left corporate was for a construction company. And I earned very well. I was a PA to 4 directors. I then moved over to project management, and I was so comfortable. I was like, God was so good, because my last job that I ever worked, I had the best boss on earth. All my previous jobs, my bosses were horrible. But if I look at it now, those bosses taught me not what I don't want to be to my staff. So I will never treat my staff the way I was treated in those jobs. But the last boss I had, he was just so amazing. And he planted so much in me that I carry out in my working environment with my staff now. Because I phoned him at 8 o'clock. It was a random Thursday. My daughter was diagnosed with cancer, and I said to him, Eric, I don't think I can come back to work. And he said to me, Misha, what's wrong? Why are you crying? And I said, my daughter just got diagnosed with cancer, with leukemia. And he said to me, just tell me what you want. Just tell me what you need, and from our side, we'll do it for you. And let me tell you, for 6 months, I was paid my full salary. I wasn't going to work. All I told him was, Eric, I just need my medical aid to be paid. That's all. I didn't need my salary. I just need... And I got my full salary, and they paid my medical aid. They sent me vouchers. Every second month I was getting like food vouchers from them, because they knew I was living in the hospital. So they were just sending me Woolworths vouchers, and they were just so amazing. And I made it through one of the hardest things of my life, because somebody decided to support me, even though he didn't need to. He could have fired me, he could have replaced me. He really didn't need to do what he did, and that was just the most amazing part of my life. Meeting somebody like that impacted my life, made me become a strong boss, but a compassionate boss. So when my staff, something happens to them, I always make them feel comfortable to come talk to me. We can get through it together. It's not a train smash. You're a human, you have problems, you have issues. Let's figure it out together. Leaving work is not the option. I want it to be the last option for my staff. And then you get some good stuff, and you just get some bad stuff. That's just the way it is. Because not everybody in life is going to respect your business. They're just there for the salary, to see it and get going. But you get some people who want to take your vision, who want to make it part of it, who will look after you. Human beings like routine. We love routine. We don't like change. Change throws us out. Change makes us feel uncomfortable. Change challenges us, makes us feel unworthy. Because when change happens, it challenges you, and sometimes you're not able to win the first time or the second time. And I got very comfortable being married. I got very comfortable always having Warren to depend on. I got very comfortable with having a salary. And then life changed when I left work, and I thought I was going to challenge myself. But I got even worse because I had a husband who was running a very successful business, and I was very comfortable. I literally worked 1 hour a day for 5 years. 1 hour a day for 5 years. But it came with a lot of stress, and that stress changed me. The stress changed me because you become moody, you become unapproachable, you become rude. You put this big target over your head, and social media makes it worse. Because you compare yourself to people that's like you, that's your age, that was in school with you. Everything becomes diluted when you are chasing. Because the intention behind it is not pure. And for 5 years I was a zombie. I had a man who was just doing his own thing, drag racing. I had a sick child. I had zero time for myself. I neglected myself so badly that I'm telling you, I wouldn't even care what I picked up in the morning to wear out of my wardrobe. That's how bad it was. That I didn't even care if I ate for the day. I could go 2 days without eating. I just drink water, chill, because I was like a zombie. I was like out of it. If you met me, I would smile. You'd never say anything was wrong. Inside, dying. Always with anxiety. Always depressed. I think also losing my dad. I lost my dad at 21. That just changes you. You don't understand death at such a young age. You feel like everything's been ripped from you. You feel like it's been stripped from you. And yeah. You feel alone when death comes, and then you just move along with life. You move along, you never deal with it, you never accept it. And I always thank God for Warren, because at that time of my life, he was a very good friend. He was like my best friend. And when he entered my life, he changed it forever when he took me to church. Because when I went to church, I was able to forgive myself for a lot of things I didn't do, and a lot of things I did that was wrong. And also to let go of my father's death. It took me years to just say, okay, you need to live. You just wake up one day and your whole life changes. It changes. As a 21-year-old, it changes. And then at 23, I got married. Which I don't know who told me that that's the best idea, to be 23 and married. Because the first 5 years of your marriage is the worst. People make it seem like it's this fairy tale. Reality happens. Reality happens because now you're the wife. There's no mother that's gonna cook your food and wash your clothes. Reality seeps in that now you are dependent for somebody else. You have to make sure things. And at 23, getting married, sure, when I sit and I think back, I'm asking myself, why did I think that was, there was so much more to life. But I wouldn't be here without him, and I wouldn't change it. But I would definitely tell people not to rush into marriage. And I would definitely say to people, marriage is a beautiful thing when two beings are matured, because then you love each other, then you communicate properly. You don't have toxicity in your relationship. And that's what we had for the first 5 years. It was horrible. We didn't have the same vision. We were just young and stupid and stubborn. And you want to prove a point to each other. But when you learn that you're a team and you can work together and you can achieve more together, you start unlocking things that God will just give you so much. You just start unlocking things you never thought. You walk into rooms you never thought you'd be in. I shared a stage with so many people. They are ridiculously famous. And when I think back, I'm like, how did I even get there? And the only reason I got there was because Warren and I had a dream together and we pushed each other to get there. And it's beautiful when you get to that part in your marriage, but you got to go through and I think that's why a lot of divorces happen, because nobody waits out that period. They just give in while it's still in that fragile state. But life is funny. It's just hectic. And if you're not growing every day, if you tell yourself you're happy where you are and you're comfortable where you are, no, then you're never going to grow. You're never going to mature. You're never going to be able to face your biggest fears. And I wanted to just be 100% authentic and real. I wanted to show mothers, women, sisters, whoever could relate to me, that life's not perfect. So if you go onto my social media, you'll see you won't just see me in makeup or dressed up, which a lot of people do. They never without makeup, or they don't show their real self. I wanted to show people that what you see on social media is not real, that this is real. Waking up in the morning feeling depressed, feeling maybe you can't do it, maybe feeling shitty about yourself. Maybe as a woman you don't even know where to start with dressing up. I want it to be relatable and real. And my audience knows me for that, because when they meet me in real life, the first thing they say to me, you are exactly the same. And that's what I appreciate. That's what I go to, because I'm not being somebody different on camera. If I want to shout my child while I'm on a live, I shout him. I don't switch the camera off, discipline and come back, because that's not what I sell. I sell that we all go through things in life. Whether I'm an influencer, whether you're a celebrity, you can be Kim Kardashian. At night you're sitting there questioning your life. And that means that the next person who maybe doesn't have the millions is sitting and thinking of the same thing. It's just that you don't show it on camera because you have an image to portray. For me, yes, I do have an image, I do have standards, but I show people the realness of social media. I actually am not chasing followers. I don't chase followers. I have never chased followers. My following grew organically. You know why? Because I sit and eat and talk to my fans, like my following. I'd sit and go live while I'm in my pajamas, no makeup. I'll tell people that, hey, listen, today Warren made me mad. I couldn't handle the fight we had while we were at work. And that's what attracted people to me, because I didn't have to pretend to be somebody and then come online and fake it. Because I hate that line, fake it till you make it. That line drives me insane. I cannot handle that saying. Whoever came up with that saying needs to be seriously questioned. Where did you come up with this fake it till you make it stuff? This is why people are delusional. This is why people end up dying and killing themselves, because they're trying to fake a lifestyle they can't uphold. You actually feel more unworthy faking it till you make it. It doesn't even make sense to me. For me, my line is stay focused. Have a goal and stay focused. Because if you focus on what you have and you block out the white noise, you already won. Do you know how difficult it is to stay focused in today's day and age? There are so many distractions. Everything looks appetizing. Everything looks better than where you are right now in this world. You will look at the next person and say, hey, this person is winning. That person is going home to a lonely bed, crying themselves to sleep at night, but you think that person is winning. Stay focused on yourself and block out the white noise. And you know, that's honestly what I've been doing for 3 years now. I get so much hate online. I literally delete, block, move on. Because I know what's my goal. My goal is not to have 2 million followers. My goal is to impact 200 million lives. Because if I can impact somebody, that's more important than a person following me. I've impacted your life. I've changed something. I've given you hope. I've made you laugh for today. That's more important. You following me because of my fashion or my makeup, that's great. But if you leave my page and you haven't taken anything away for the day, then I have lost. Because now I have the platform to impact your life and maybe help you to avoid going through what I went through. I was in an abusive relationship before Wada. And I wish somebody would have told me what I tell people. I always tell all the women I come across that message me and inbox me and DM me and say, Mrs. Bibi, I'm in this relationship. He's verbally abusing me. He's physically abusing me. I'm like, why are you allowing it? Because you believe you're worth that. And that's what I believed as a young girl. That he loved me. That's why he was possessive. That's why he smacked me around. No. You believing that you are worth that. You need to raise the bar higher and stand on your 2 feet and say, listen, I'm not going to accept this. I'm done with you. Bye-bye. And move on. So I feel like if I can impact people with my experiences, my knowledge, and I can help a lot of people not go through the same thing I went through. Or to not go through it, to actually even avoid it on the whole. Because that whole thing in the way they say, sometimes you have to learn something in life. No, I would never want my daughters to do that. I would never, you don't always have to go through the bad. Sometimes it can be avoided. And I wish someone had told me that earlier in life. You don't always have to drop down to rock bottom in order to pick yourself, because it can be avoided. So when I first created an online store, it was a box. It was a beauty box with makeup items in there, and I would show women how to use it. Because a lot of women don't know how to put makeup perfectly. And my thing was, I want to help people, but I also need to make a living. So I turned that into a business. And I have another project that is loading. It's called Sisters of Substance. It will be a social gathering for women to come and share. So it needs to be something where women come together to share their life. Not even just to say what they're going through, but maybe you've gone through something that I haven't, that you can help somebody else. It doesn't have to always be me helping. I can bring women together to help each other. And that will be taking off next year in 2024, Sisters of Substance. We have a logo going for it, and we're starting it as a proper project. It's called Sisters of Substance, where we can hold each other's hands to get through things in life. I think women they need to stop this empowerment thing. We need to just lock arms and just know that we have the power and start moving. I heard someone very influential that I follow say, why do we always say woman empowerment, yet you don't find a man saying man empowerment? It's because we already have the power within us. We don't need anyone to give us permission to unlock that power. We just have to unlock that power. So, yeah, this whole woman empowerment thing, it's big. But is it really big? Or is it really us saying to ourselves, oh no, we don't have the power, we're giving ourselves the power? No, we just have to just do what we have to do. Just get shit done, man. That's what it is. So I just look at it like next year is going to be a good year, where I am going to impact a lot more people. Because this year, I took this year to build myself up. I started listening more, talking less, understanding more, exploring more. Because a lot in life, sometimes we just want to talk. We want to share our experiences. And when you share your experiences, you don't learn anything new. But when you listen, you start learning other things. You start learning new stuff from other people. And so this year I've taken a lot of time to build myself and to be where I want to be and accept where I am. Physically, mentally, spiritually. And I asked myself 2 important questions this year. Misha, what makes you happy? And what brings you peace? And when you can answer those 2 questions, what makes you happy and what brings you peace, that takes you to a whole nother level of looking at life. Because I no longer argue over something that doesn't bring me peace. Am I going to fight with you because you broke my cup? The cup is broken. Are we going to fight? No. Just move on in life. So my perspective has changed a lot, and I'm chasing the peace thing. Because peace is power. Peace is the new power. If you can obtain peace in this day and age, you've obtained the highest amount of wealth in this world. Because if you can show me one person that is 100% peaceful, even with money, I'll say, you've unlocked something. People always think money is the answer to everything. It's not. It really is not. I've had it all and I've had nothing. There was a time where I had so much that I wouldn't even bother to look at a price of anything. I'd just swipe for it. I'd always take the bills. But then you get to a point where you have nothing and you're starting from the bottom again. And then you realize that money is not, it comes and goes. And you don't chase it. You must attract it. You attract it. And when you stop chasing, it just gets attracted to you. Success, doors, opportunities, Being a woman in business is very tough because people don't take you seriously. They won't give you the opportunity. They won't give you the proposal. And I've proven it to Warren time and time again, because when I propose something to a brand, they'll say, oh, okay. But when he does it and he markets it, they'll give it to us. And I said to him, a woman in business is very tough. You have to be hard. You're always fighting your way through stuff. But there comes a time when you realize the opportunities will just come to you the right way without you having to prove yourself. It's all about patience, perseverance, and passion. When you have those 3 things, your whole life changes as a woman in business. You stop chasing, and the opportunities are unlimited, because you stop looking at it like, the problem we have, we look at a lot of things like it's a battle. It's always competition, because women are competitive. We're either competing with each other, because we always want the attention on us. From the time we're young, they teach you to always be pretty, to do this. So as humans, as beings, we always want that attention, so it becomes competitive. But when you and your spouse or the people around you are no longer competing and you're building together, you have a winning combination. So I've learned that there's no power struggle between Warren and I. I don't power struggle with my husband. He's the head of the home. He's the man. I submit to him. But I've also learned how to show him and express my opinion if it does differ from him. Because it's easy to become successful and forget about your partner. And say, you know what? You go do your thing, I'll go do my thing. He plays a very pivotal role in my life. After his near-death experience, I think I've even appreciated him even more. Because when you get a phone call saying, say goodbye to your spouse, you dying in bed, he's dying, he can't even talk. Sometimes I have to, like when I'm irritated and with life and I'm not feeling grateful, I go back and I play that voice note that he left for me. He left a voice note to say goodbye to me because I couldn't get to my phone in time. And when I listen to that voice note, I always say, thank you, God, thank you, Jesus, for the second chances. You gave me a second chance because I begged God. I pleaded with God. I was like, please don't take my husband. Please don't take. And the devil was telling me things that I didn't need to hear. He was planting all this doubt in my life. He was like, you're going to be fine. You're going to have to just be a single parent. And I had to fight those thoughts. And I fought with God that night. And I said to him, please, whatever it takes, I will change. I will be a different person. Just give me a second chance with this person because I feel like we didn't do enough together. The journey wasn't finished. We had a lot of unresolved issues. We still had lots of memories to make. And mind you, the time that he just got sick, we had come from our 10-year anniversary in Cape Town, and we had such an amazing trip. You have this amazing trip that you see like in movies. You have like this fun week spending, reconnecting, rekindling, and next thing your partner's about to die. How do you even digest that? And I don't do anything without him. He is my pillar. He is my strength. I am very grateful that we have crossed paths in life and we've built each other and broke each other in our marriage because we were babies and we were both growing up together. But he turned out to be the most amazing husband one could ever ask. He is that perfect person because he literally will rub my feet every night without me asking. And that's because, not because he wants to, and he's grown up and he's also realized what's important in life. And our kids are seeing us loving each other and growing up in this loving environment other than this business, thrive, rush environment. Our kids grew up in a home that was a business. We had our business in our home. They couldn't play. They couldn't make noise. We always had people in and out of our house. It was stupid. We were young and we were stupid. We didn't see our priorities. If you can ask me now, what do I want? I think I told this to you the other day. I can't wait to go on holiday. Just because I'm going to spend time with my kids. I want to hear their side, their story, dig deep into them. Because we don't get the time to actually find out what's going on with our girls. What is really happening? And I'm looking forward to it. My soul is yearning just to spend time with my family. Just to spend a different type of Christmas. Not something that's revolving around entertaining other people, gifts. If you think about it, we nearly lost our eldest daughter. And then we nearly lost Warren. Those are two near-death experiences. And if your eyes are not open after that, then what are you really living for? And I had to tell myself that I have to be a better person. Because I have to be a wife and I have to be a mother. And those are the two most important jobs for me. Being an amazing wife and being an amazing mother. And I would never trade it for the world. Never. And it's tough. It's tough because some days you feel unworthy of that job title. Because you fail and there's no manual and there's nobody helping you. And people will always tell you, do this, do that. They try and give you a formula, but it really doesn't work. You have to figure it out on your own. Yeah, I don't think, after 17 years with the same person, we've been married for 13 years. Next year will be 14. And we've been together 3 years prior to that. So 17 years. Life, that person's imprinted in your DNA. You wake up looking for that person, even when they irritate you. So we have a rule, we don't go to bed without making right if we fought. That's our rule. When you wake up one day and, a doctor lays a death sentence on you, because that's what cancer is, it's a death sentence. The only thing you can think about at that moment, because no amount of money, no person, nothing. You only have God at that moment. And what changed for me is my spiritual life, is that I didn't depend on Warren, I didn't depend on my pastors, I didn't depend on anyone. At that moment, I only had God to talk to. Because you stay in a hospital for 3 years. You stay in every ward, you know the nurses, they know you. You know the routine, you don't get sleep, you eat hospital food. The only person you really have all the time with you at that time is God. And that particular season of my life made me strong. I don't know how I got through it. If you had to ask me today, how did you do it? Like a lot of people say, we'd never be able to do it. No, you will be. When you put into a situation, you will come out. But that particular situation grew me very much up spiritually, because the encounter that I had with other people that were coming in and out of the hospital were worse than mine. So for the first 6 months, you stay there full time. And then afterwards, they allow you to leave on like a Friday, but then you got to come on a Monday, right? What was a real eye-opener for me is that some Fridays you'd say goodbye to someone, and when you arrive on Monday, that person's not there. So you have to pour into those people that's going, you going through a hard time, but those people are going through a harder time. So as much as you want to feel hurt and pain, you have to be strong, number one. And number two, you got to pour into those people for hope. So in that particular season, I learned, take your bread and share it in half. And that's what I used to do. Instead of worrying if my child had fever and she was sick, there was children there that had other diagnoses that there was no cure to. Because her prognosis was good from the word go. The doctor said it looks positive. She will come out of this, and just stay off the internet. That's what they tell you. When you get diagnosed, they tell you don't go to Google. So for me, meeting the child next to me and they saying he's got a rare skin cancer and there's no cure for it because it's the first of its kind. Imagine how that mother's feeling. So I had to learn to be strong and pray with all those mothers in those rooms. Because at that moment, that's all you have. God, and you got to share God with the next person. So it definitely picked up my spiritual life, that season of my life. And even some days I get emotional. I look at my little girl, she's 11 now, big girl, growing up, attitude, thinks she knows it all, doesn't remember a single thing of it, because that's how good God was. Doesn't remember, she was 1 year, 10 months. So she doesn't remember much. She has little bits of trauma here and there, but nothing serious. So it was basically me and Warren that went through it. She didn't go through it. She doesn't know what it is. We went through it. And I sit back and I think, I look at all her pictures and there was people there, and I say, I just hope that those people are in good health, And I think of my days in the hospital. I did my Bible study diploma while being in hospital, and I graduated. And I think the only reason I could connect and actually focus on those Bible studies was because of what I was going through. Because it just takes you deeper and deeper and deeper, and everything makes sense. And you just have to trust in God. And it's such a beautiful thing, because it's your encounter. That's what it is. It's a spiritual encounter that can never be taken away from you. No one will ever be able to waver my faith to tell me God is not real, because He is. He is. He healed my daughter. Because that night when she was diagnosed, the doctor kept pacing up and down into our room saying, this child's not going to make it. Her heart rate was too high. She had no red blood cells. And she was very low on platelets. And the blood bank didn't have her type blood. We said one prayer, and the nurse came to me an hour later and she said, Mrs. Daniel, they have her blood. It's coming. It's coming. And when that blood came, we prayed over that blood. And ever since then, everything just fell into place. So you have different parts of your life take you through different encounters. And the penny dropping is different parts. But when the penny dropped for me 3 years ago, it dropped for me to start living and not existing. Because you exist, all the pain, all the trauma starts making you just want to exist. You're just there. And I'm sure a lot of people go through this. Some days you just wake up and think, oh, yeah, let me just eat, let me just bath, But when that penny drops for you to realize how important you are to live, you take all that trauma, all that pain, all your childhood memories, all the pain, all the letdowns, all the disappointments, you start turning it into something that just takes you to another level. I cannot explain it. I don't know if everybody gets to encounter this, because I have people that's close to me that are still living in the depression. They're still living. How do you get out of it when you are surrounded by problems? And listen, COVID didn't make it easy for anybody. Everybody's sitting there thinking to themselves, shit, life before COVID. Actually, for me, life after COVID, I'm thriving. Hence the name Thrive for my juice bar. Thrive was because I'm thriving. I'm thriving through my circumstances. I'm going to thrive through my pain, and I'm going to definitely thrive to my success. The sun is shining, and I think I'm in my sunshine season now. And when I started CMOS, I started it because I wanted to help my family, and I wanted to help myself. And I was looking for different ways, and herbally, because I just didn't believe in the medicine after the whole COVID thing. For me, the vaccine was just started making me question a whole lot of things in life. Like, is medicine even real? Like, to a point now, what are these people even putting in us? We don't even know. It's been 2 years since I've been ill. I have not had the flu. I've been on CMOS from last year. So it's about 1 year, 1 full year. I've not been ill. I have not touched an antibiotic. And I felt like if I can see the benefits of this, let me share it with everybody else. And that's what I did. I shared it. I turned it into a business and I shared it. I want to give people the hope that they don't get from medicine. Because so many of my ladies were told they'll never have pregnancies, they'll never. And I have like 4 or 5 successful stories that they are now pregnant, they're delivering their babies because doctors told them they couldn't. But the CMOS went and fixed whatever was wrong with them. Because it's natural, it's from the earth. Why wouldn't we believe that before medicine? Well, medicine comes from herbs. It comes from plants. If you go back and you do all your research and you see how were people fixing themselves before, it was all herbs and plants. Like, our parents used to give us cloves for toothaches. Think about small little things like that. They'll make you drink water for a headache. There was no pills and potions. And if we just take a few steps back and we go back to that, we'll have a healthier generation. A healthier generation. And that's what I want. I want to push that little bit of hope to somebody who has no more hope in medicine, or their bodies are failing them and they don't know. And it brings so much joy to me. I have a client whose son was on 22 steroids for eczema for nearly 8 years of his life. Couldn't get it cleared. Eyes swollen. He's one of my biggest testimonies on my page. She started the CMOS, face cleared, able to play like a normal child. He's off all of those steroids. Yes, it comes, it flares up, it's on and off. But she says that he's never been better. Now, how would that make you feel as a human being? Is that you brought some hope to somebody. And not everything works for everyone, and I get that. I get it. But I'm just happy that it is working for the people who need it. So yeah, the CMOS thing has really helped me to even deeper envision where I want to go and how far I want to go with this. I just think that COVID, as much as everyone thinks COVID came in, broke us, COVID actually rebuilt us into who we really are supposed to be. It like kind of reset the whole world, gave you a second chance. And if you're not taking that second chance and making it magic, you're wasting your second chance. There's no way in this world are we ever going to go into a long break again, like what they did with us with COVID, because we know economically it will never happen. But COVID gave you a chance to really find out who you are. Sitting in that house long hours, doing nothing, eating, watching this, doing that. Tell me, how much things did you discover during COVID when you were sitting there? Do you think that any time in your life you sat there and you asked yourself important questions? Because I did. So COVID kind of gave us a second chance to actually do what we love doing. Because if COVID didn't come along, Warren would never be doing cars. He'd never be living his passion. He'd still be owning a media company, just working like a dog, crazy, and we'd both be stuck in there. It really, really, really gave us a second chance, and I'm happy for that. One of them is to definitely take my CMOS smoothie bar, which is the first of its kind in this country. There's no other CMOS smoothie bar in SA. This is the first. I'd like to take it into gyms. I'd like to take it, franchise it, and then take it into gyms in different provinces. And yeah, I want to franchise. I want to double up on everything and everywhere for everyone. I think that's my big focus. Employment. I want to create so many of these that I can employ young, vibrant people who need the guidance, that we can grow. I think the most important thing in this whole journey that we all go through in life is that everybody's journey matters. Nobody's journey is irrelevant. Your story is not better than mine. But your story is your story. And you got to be proud of it.